pursuit of justice for your son and your brother, Manny Ellis. His death creates a hole that cannot and will not be filled, and the waves of grief have impacted our entire community. But we know the Ellis family hurts the most. In an effort to be clear and concise, I've worked very hard to gather my thoughts, and I've made notes to be sure that I cover each point I want to share today. I also want to acknowledge who is here with me today. In the short lead up to this moment, all of your city council members were unable to join us, but I want to be clear, here or not, we stand together today. Here with me are our Deputy Mayor, Christina Walker, Council Member John Hines, Council Member Sarah Rumbaugh, Council Member Keith Blocker, Council Member Kiara Daniels, and Council Member Ogie Diaz. Unfortunately, Council Member Catherine Ushka and Council Member Joe Bushnell were unable to join us. Following my remarks, our city manager will address the administrative process and next steps. We have all waited for the conclusion of this trial and a decision on this case. The weight of this moment is one that's been carried for a very long time, nearly 4 years. I want to acknowledge the challenges and complexities associated with a case of this nature and thank the court and the jury for this difficult work. We learned together today that all 3 officers have been found not guilty. This verdict undoubtedly elicits a wide range of emotions from each and every one of us, including myself. Specifically, I want to acknowledge the anger, the distrust, the doubt, the fear, the hurt, and the exhaustion that we as Black people have experienced as a result of the history of policing in this country. As your city government, we hold the power to impact lives, and our police officers are entrusted with a specific kind of power and a responsibility to uphold and enforce the law. The verdict today does not lessen our commitment to ensure that the city's power is used to protect and serve, and that the essential services provided by all city employees are delivered equitably and fairly. Under the leadership of our police chief, Avery Moore, the police department will continue its work to repair and transform. Their ongoing efforts to be more open, authentically connect with community, and support the safety of everyone in Tacoma will continue. I want to express how grateful I am for the dedicated officers at the Tacoma Police Department who show up every single day in the spirit of excellence and service to this community. Today, 3 officers' trials concluded, but the entire Tacoma Police Department was not on trial. In this moment, some of us will need to process our emotions. I know I certainly will. But it will be critical for us to come together, to foster dialogue, and to grow greater understanding between our community and city government systems. Right now, I know that many of you feel the need to be heard. I want to be clear that this is not only your right, but it's also your duty to use your voice. In these difficult moments, I am heartened by Tacoma's long-standing practice of showing up actively and peacefully. And I call on all who want to speak out to do so in a way that reflects Tacoma's values. It is our responsibility as a city to protect that right. And even and especially now, in this moment, on this day, when the message is harsh and critical of government, your council and I will continue to protect that right. While the jury rendered its verdict today, the city's internal processes continue. In a moment, you will hear from our city manager on the administrative investigations underway. Over 3 years ago, I called for the firing of each officer involved. And at that moment, my heart was breaking. Following that statement, I further clarified the importance of process before decisions were made. While there is no outcome that would be perceived by all as just, I believe that these administrative investigations will continue to be carried out impartially. As your mayor, I share the depth of emotion that many of you are experiencing right now. As we individually and collectively grapple with our response to today's verdict, I know this is not the moment to share our past actions or to list our future plans to fix our systems. And let me be very clear, this is bigger than just the systems the city controls alone. But what I want you to know is that I personally commit, along with every member of your city council, and with our city manager and our police chief, to a just, transparent, and safer Tacoma for all of our residents. And I stand with you, beside you, in front of you, and behind you as you advocate for the changes that need to be made. These are not just words. This commitment is real, and it has been and will continue to be backed by action. We still have so much to navigate. But what I know, what I believe, what will get me through this moment is that I know that if we work together, we can be the city where everyone feels safe, respected, and cared for. We will use this moment, this very difficult moment in Tacoma's history, to guide and inform our change. And we will not forget the life of Manny Ellis.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm Elizabeth Pauley, and I'm the city manager for the city of Tacoma. And I stand here this evening as the city manager, but I also stand here as a mother and as a member of this community. And we all stand here today because of a loss, the loss of the life of Manny Ellis. In all of my roles, I care deeply about that loss. And I feel the pain and feel the weight of the pain that so many individuals and families have held so long. In my role as city manager, I want to be clear that I stand with my mayor and with the city council in their concern for accountability, as well as their broader concern for how we use the power that we hold in serving this community. We can succeed in serving this community only when we develop the trust with the community in the exercise of that power. And I am committed to accountability. My role throughout this process has been to make certain that we follow all of the steps necessary to ensure accountability. I also want to be clear that I stand with Police Chief Avery Moore and the police department and all the dedicated officers that do show up every day in the spirit of service to this community and who share this commitment to accountability. I'm now going to briefly summarize the next steps in our administrative process. These process steps will be available to all on our website. With the conclusion of the testimony in this case, Internal Affairs immediately took the necessary steps to begin to finalize our internal investigation for violation of Tacoma Police Department policies. This stage of the process will conclude within 24 hours. Chief Moore has committed to review the completed investigation and finalize the process for any recommended discipline within the next 14 days. And that is the summary of our process. Thank you.
Thank you, City Manager. And as I said, again, to all of you in this room today, thank you for being here. Now, I know a lot of you have questions that you want answers to. But I want to acknowledge that this has been a heavy day for everyone in the city of Tacoma, including all of us standing here. Out of respect for the family and for everyone impacted by today's verdict, we will not take questions this evening. All of this information that you've heard this evening can be found on the city's website as well as this statement. And again, thank you all for being here this evening.